Alex and Drew, the Chainsmokers. It has been way too long, my good friends. It's great to see you again.
What up?
It's been a minute, huh?
It has been a long time. Now, congratulations on your first song back, High, going #1 for 2 weeks in a row.
Let's go.
Great. I didn't even know that. That's exciting.
Oh, well, let me be the one to break the news to you. High was #1 for 2 weeks in a row.
Let's go.
We've kind of like, and this isn't like it meant as like a bad thing, but like we tried to like detach ourselves from like the expectations of our music. You know what I mean? Like we kind of like decided that we're like a new band, basically. Since
it feels like a new thing, yeah.
And so like we get really pumped when we hear that stuff, but we try not to like track it, because it will just drive you crazy. So this is great news.
Well, I'm glad I could be here for this great news with you guys. Now, let's rewind really quickly. Of course, when you guys took a break back in February of 2020, it was right before everything happened. You guys had no idea that the whole world was going to lock down. How did your mindset change from it being an artist break to a whole world break?
Yeah. Good question. I mean, in the beginning, it was, obviously the pandemic was awful for an array of reasons, but for us, it was like you really could take a full breath for a second. You know, I think obviously it was devastating to our industry and other industries, but I think a lot of artists that were touring all the time were like, oh, thank God. We were still going to do like Vegas and stuff, but you know, that first 3 weeks of when they were like, you can't leave your house for 3 weeks, we were like, for real? And I think how it impacted our project is if it had never happened, I think we would have come back probably like a year earlier. And the album that we made took 2 years. And so, for the sake of our art, I'm glad that we were forced to not come back. You know, it had extended time.
Yeah, a lot of artists that I spoke to early on, that's pretty much what they said, that it was nice, as horrible as it was with everything going on, it was nice having a break from the constant touring. Now, how long into the break did you guys finally get inspiration for TCS4?
I mean, that was kind of like, we didn't know. You know what I mean? Like when we took the break initially, what was exciting for us was just the possibility that there was no expectations for anything. You know, like the tour had ended. We were kind of felt like we were first time in a place where it was like, we can just either make music or not make music, do whatever we want, we could go out and make Screamo if we felt like it or whatever the hell, like we wanted to. And I think the fact that we didn't like put that pressure or expectation on us, we were in Hawaii just kind of hanging out, for the first few days, like listening to music that we loved and sharing, with each other stuff that we were excited about. And then like one night it just started happening. And it was like, that you couldn't stop it if you wanted to. And it just was like, oh, like this might be it. And I think we wrote like 14 or 15 songs in Hawaii, or like started them at least. And a couple of those kind of became the backbone of what the vibe was for the album. But I think, this album in general, it's just like, I mean, the pandemic hadn't even started when we were in Hawaii, but like, obviously as that, began to onset as we were like still working on the album, it felt like, the purpose of the album was obviously like to elevate the sound that like people fell in love with us for and, push it to a new height. But also, most importantly, like when the pandemic began to be like, oh, this thing is lasting like a long time. Let's like make music that like people can enjoy life to when they come out of it. And I think the thing that we really like to put a lot of emphasis on is like main character energy, like that type of music that like if you're driving in the car alone or with friends, you kind of feel like you're starring in your own movie. And I think, we did a really good job kind of nailing that.
Yeah, I definitely do think you did a great job with High. Now, I think High may have been the quickest rising song in the chart history, if I'm not mistaken. What? I mean, it's crazy how quickly it went #1. Was High one of the first songs you guys started working on for the album?
It was actually the last song.
No crap.
Yeah. We had this interesting experience that we had never been through, that we've heard a lot of other artists have gone through, where you kind of make your entire album and then you go make your singles. I think it's easier when you have your whole album done and you've kind of like built the world that you want to put out as your next chapter, and then you have to kind of figure out the connective tissue to that world.
Now, before we talk about your newest smash, iPad, and played as our Buzz Beats of the Week, I know we got a limited time here, so let's get to know the Chainsmokers a little better with Finky's favorites. Now, I ask all the artists this question, and it's kind of the hardest question, and a lot of them cop out by saying we can't decide, so I don't want you guys copping out. But Drew, what is your favorite Chainsmokers song?
Paris.
Good choice. Alex?
iPad.
Really? Of all the Chainsmokers songs?
It's so good. Sorry, I can't say that.
I feel like I can't pick iPad. I wanted to pick iPad.
But I'm not picking it because it's the new song. I'm truly like, we were rehearsing yesterday for our show in London. And, we literally play like all of our favorite songs throughout, the course of the set. And you get to iPad. And while it is fresh, we play plenty of other new songs in the set. And it's just like, holy shit, this song is good. Like, I love, you know what I mean? It has everything. Like, it brings me back to that, like, Calvin Harris Feels So Close energy with our style of writing, and I just love it. Yeah,
it's a great song, and my personal favorite Chainsmokers song, not that you guys care, but if you haven't seen me tweeting it in the past, let me tell you face to face,
I think I know.
I think New York City.
I was going to say that. I literally.
I think that is the most underrated Chainsmokers song ever.
What's it going to take for people to recognize our back catalog? Like, are we going to have to get hit by a car or something?
No, it's going to take Fivio Foreign and Kanye West to get on it. Yeah. And make it happen.
Oh my God. Now, when you guys came through town on your arena tour, I told pretty much everybody that it was one of the best concerts I've ever been to. Just the hybrid format of Drew, you coming out and performing, and then the festival type set that you got. It was just an amazing show. Do you guys have a favorite live show that you've done?
The one that always sticks out to us is this one like that we played, I think in the summer of 2019 in this festival called Balaton Sound in Hungary. And it was sandwiched between, we played a show before that in Germany earlier that day, and we played a show in Serbia later that night. So we had 3 shows in 3 different countries in one day. And we did that show. It was, us both and our drummer, Matt. And it just like the energy from that crowd and how kind of the pressure that was around. So you never know what show's going to be amazing. It's always determined on like what the crowd brings. And you can go to a city that was once that your last show was amazing and the crowd's just not, the energy's not right the second time. So you never know what it's going to be. And I think the sheer surprise of that and the stress that we were under of having to do, a show earlier and a show later in different countries was like also kind of really palpable. And I just remember just feeling euphoric like all 90 minutes to that set.
That's so awesome. And it's got to be so frustrating to go from one badass show and then show up to a show where the audience might not be reacting. It's like, man.
We got lucky. That whole day was great, but you really never know. Like we'll go to these cities and we're like, oh man, every time we come here, it's amazing, and then it just doesn't hit for some reason.
Now, finally, in Finky's favorites, a little come together moment. Alex, what is your favorite thing about Drew?
He's an amazing producer. Obviously I could pick like personality things that are like too, but like that's really a really producer, we would be in like a really bad spot. So.
And Drew, what is your favorite thing about Alex?
He's highly organized.
As he's doing stuff on the computer right now while we're doing this.
I'm like Discording and doing this interview right now. It's really good.
Let's talk about the latest smash, iPad. How was the song born?
Alex wrote these chords. And I remember just being like, Alex, give me 3 chords. Or we were like, probably spent a whole day working. And like, I was like, before you leave, give me 3 chords. And he's like, oh, okay. So he plays these 3 different things. And like the first thing he played, I was like, that's sick. Now you got to go there and like record them. So he records these chords, took the song, and I was going through this really like kind of like I had a lot of cognitive dissonance in my relationship and didn't really know what to do. And I just kind of like got it all out like in the first few lines of the song. And Like, I I had this one melody, which is now the one melody through the whole song, which I really think is cool. And I just said, I go through your iPad looking for something that I used to have. I guess I finally lost my mind. Do you know why you go through someone's iPad?
Why?
Because if you go through their phone, they delete texts out of their phone, but your iMessage will keep them on the iPad. So that's a pro tip for all in a toxic relationship.
Nope, I will never go through somebody's iPad. I don't want to know.
I mean, you're always going to find somebody you want to.
Yeah.
Alex, Drew, the Chainsmokers, congratulations on everything. Congratulations on High being number 1 2 weeks in a row. One of my best friends, Jen, is one of your biggest fans, so she wanted me to say hi to you guys.
What's up?
What up, Jen?
TCS4, somewhere around the summer?
Yeah, definitely before summer. We don't know the exact date yet, but like we really do have a lot. Like the album's truly amazing. I think we might even do another song before the album, and then there's a lot of surprises after the album as well. So like we've been busy, and we're like writing music again now. So we're feeling like we're in a really good space. If you're a Chainsmoker fan, you should have a pretty solid summer of main character energy to enjoy.
I definitely think we will. Can't wait to see you guys live again. Alex, Drew, awesome seeing you guys. Thank you for your time on America's Dance 30.
We love you, Brian. Thank you, bro.
Love you guys too. See you later.